Welcome to Outlet to Reality. We're back. We sometimes we record every like 3 or 4 days. We had like a little stretch there, but now we are back. We're recording again. This is July 12th. Um, it's been pretty good. I mean, I think last week we were talking about 4th of July, talking about America's values and how it's very backwards. No, it's not backwards. It's not. It's very straightforward. This is a white man's town. It's a white man's country. We all know. Anyways, it's episode 10, and it's very exciting. I mean, we're just marching along here. We're now reaching double digits. Episode X, if you're into Roman numerals. But and David, I want you to mention this as I have David Montalvo here with me, and Chris Fletcher, who's our guest today. In just a second, we'll mention him in a sec. But David, we have this new flyer now. We have like a new new logo now. Can you who's the great person who made that for us?
So the person's name Lisette Lopez. She's a graphic designer for a big company in Chicago, and I told her about our passion with this podcast going, and next thing you know, she's like, "Hey, I can make it for you," and she did it in 2 weeks, and honestly, it looks amazing, and so I want to give a shout out to her for putting the time and energy, and for helping us out.
Yeah, I mean, it looks great. I changed it up on all of our platforms. It should be there by the time this episode comes out. It probably will be ready, or tomorrow or something. But anyways, on today's episode, because we are in the limit, we have Chris Fletcher here, who is here with us. He played college football. He is the son of Chris Fletcher Sr., who played in the '70s in the NHL, NFL, and for the Chargers, which is I think that's really cool information because the Chargers are kind of a forgotten franchise, and playing for them like 5 years is not like a short amount of time, so and I actually saw some of the stats. He had one season where he had like 6 interceptions. That's amazing.
Right.
But Chris Fletcher's with us. His son is here. And how you doing today, man?
What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? Your boy's just blessed and highly favored, as I always like to say. Um, out here in beautiful Vegas. Now I am from San Diego, but I live out here now in that Sin City of Vegas. Yeah, man. I'm a host, good friends with David. Brought me onto you guys' beautiful podcast. I'd love to see what you guys are doing. I'm glad that I get to be on the forefront of some grassroots that are being planted. But yeah, so today's topic, though, I think is pretty interesting. I think we got a good one today.
Yeah, trust us, we are not that interesting. But we have So David was telling me earlier. So let's just jump into it. You are a dating expert.
Well, all right. See that's I don't know about expert, but
Should we say player? Should we say player? Not kidding.
Like, this is EA Sports. I am in the game. I'm just kidding.
That's a good one, bro. Yeah, man, because you know what? Honestly, I thought the best topic to talk about is basically how to date someone during quarantine with a mask. So my boy Chris, I know he's been in a lot of experience during this quarantine, and I think it'd be nice to hear, some of his good, funny stories when he had to pull up.
Man.
I mean,
so is he are you a counselor or something?
Look, so the way I see it, yeah, I just listen to situations, right, and I put my little 2 cents on them. You know what I mean? Like, myself, I've been in long relationships. I'm at a point now where I'm not really tied down to any relationship, nor am I really trying to find anything right now. I think I'm just trying to settle it, figuring myself out. But people get lonely, especially during the quarantine where we naturally have social distancing and this, that, yada, yada. David and I have just the thought in itself, how are you supposed to date someone during a quarantine? Like everything that the quarantine we're supposed to be doing, social distancing, right? Having a mask on, pretty much not being around each other, with all the things, the closing downs of things in cities, right? Like Vegas, we just had our bars closed down once again. So, we don't have clubs that are open in this whole year. So when you think about as a potential wanting to find a woman type situation, right? When you would go to a club to go meet somebody, this, that, and the other, you don't have that anymore. Or like I was kind of talking to David about too, which is interesting. Like baby got a mask on, right? How how do you know what they're really bringing to the table? Like for me personally, to speak about myself, I love a beautiful smile, right? Like a beautiful smile on a woman to me is like, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm automatically attracted. But if you got a mask on, you know what I'm saying? I don't get to see the smile until like, 2/3 of the date in. That's putting you in a situation, I feel like. What do you think?
What if you got like what if she had like a mask that just looks like dentures, that just looks like or what if it would just look like a smile?
And that means that she probably clowning with you, bro. There's probably some underneath that she don't want you to see. She probably playing with
Right.
you. When she takes that off, you're gonna be like, oh, you know what? I mean, you want to keep that back on. Keep the fake dentures back on.
Or what if she has a bad smell, like she stank, like her breath, so she
Right.
needs a mask to cover it up,
You feel me? She may have what's the when you have really bad breath, what's it called?
Yeah, there's an actual term for it. I don't know. It's slipping my mind.
We got to look it up later. We ain't got enough time on Zoom, but we got to find that one later.
Yeah, I'll look it up. All right, you guys keep talking.
Oh man, but what about like I gotta say that really came in my mind is like the movie Scary Movie #2 when Marlon Wayne, one of the brothers, basically had sex with a ghost with a paper bag on her face.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we gotta start doing that. I think that's the first wave. Get with a girl, get that paper bag. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But
You ain't gotta see nothing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have the word for bad breath. The other word for it is called halitosis.
Halitosis. I see. Halitosis. So yeah, that's a good example. Like, what if she got halitosis, right? The other one too. What else were we talking about? When you got the situation where even before that, like even before you get the date, like even the ways of how we're even communicating or trying to find dates, right? Like, because now you kind of are stuck with social platforms to maneuver off of, right? To meet somebody. So you're back onto your whatever, Tinder, if people still do that. What else are there out there?
Bumble.
There's
yeah.
Bumble. What is Plenty of Fish? Isn't that a thing?
Plenty, yeah. there's a lot of them out there. Let's just say that. But you're back onto that social platform to try to find somebody. But even then, like, how authentic is and genuine is that really being? Y'all, there's a whole series called Catfish that is still on MTV that's based off of people acting like somebody else. You feel me? So I don't know. It's a tough time right now. I think it's almost impossible. That's what I was telling David about. It's almost impossible to try to find something genuine during this time. But at the same time, we're human. Like we naturally want, I think, others to be either intimate with or just to be around. So creates a Scary Movie 2 effect, I guess, like David said.
Is Instagram a dating app?
What do you say, David? What do you say, David?
I think it is because honestly, for me, it has been the most effective when it comes down to like meeting up with a girl or even getting her number or like messaging her. Because the way it works is that if the girl likes your pictures, right? You never met her, she likes 3 of your pictures, you like 3 back, you have a virtual like. So that means she's kind of interested. So if you send her a comment, right, and she replies back, she's like, oh, okay, this guy is interesting. Then you can send her a personal DM and you'll right there have like a regular conversation. And I think it's the easiest. And for our generation, it's like it works out, I think, my opinion.
So I'm gonna have to agree, but I don't like the fact I'm agreeing because of what the question was asked. Yes, it is. Instagram for sure is a place. Matter of fact, it's probably the #1 place because it's lines can get crossed easily. You can come in with the intentions on just adding somebody off some I like photography too. Okay, cool. So let me add you. It could be off some businesses now, or when you first get to know somebody, what do people ask? It's not your phone number anymore. It's what's your IG, what's your at, you know what I'm saying? What's your Snapchat? So 100%, I think that's the number one platform being moved, but not saying I agree with it, because again, it's Instagram in itself, man. If y'all remember Instagram when it first started to where it's come to now, I don't even know how many years it's been, but it's just been a wild ride. It's a kind of like a Pandora's box for a lot of things, but yeah, man. I mean, I guess that's where I guess you shoot your shot at nowadays. Shoot, at least you get to see the girl and what she kind of looks like. Matter of fact, Dave, I'm gonna ask you this though, since you said what you said. Do you believe that your strategy in game changes now? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, what if you're more of a person old school, where I'm more of a walk up to you at a bar kind of situation, talk to you person, versus you acting a certain way and reading how they put their pictures and why they post what they post. Like, do you think that you have to be almost better now because of it?
Well, for me, I feel like always, I'm still old school. I like to go up in person, talk to the girl, flirt, what I'm saying, make my way, making my way downtown, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
we
like,
know.
but in Instagram, I feel like I kind of have to be more humble. Like, I can't, it's not the same
Really?
way. So I have to take my time, be patient. And I feel like girls, I would say 9 out of 10 girls, if they were to open your message, they may not reply back until 2 weeks or 3 days later, and it gets annoying. So I start doing the same thing to them. If they message me, I'm gonna take my time, 3 hours, okay, or I'll make sure they saw I open it, but I won't respond right away.
Next
And
thing you
they
know, you're
hate
playing in
it.
Game 7 of the NBA Finals. You have no idea what's coming to happen.
Right, exactly. So that's how you gotta do it, man. So that's my strategy.
I guess
Yeah,
I guess that would
go ahead.
be just like the question I asked. Well, because you guys have both said yes, but I'm not sure how often you guys use like Instagram for trying to set up dates. I know David, you touched on it a little bit, but I guess that would be a better question to ask for someone who's like 22 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Because
yeah,
we're
I'll
all
just
the
think of my
same
own
age.
apps such as LinkedIn and the hot single
Oh,
moms in my area.
oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
I'll stick with that because that's just it's more stability.
I agree with you on that one. 100%. Yeah. Like I think age bracket, I mean, it also shows something of you too. Like, because you're right. Younger generations, like I have a younger sister. IG is where it's at. You know what I mean? Like that's the way, I guess, to the portal they use. I don't know. But I'm over here closer to 30. I don't know if I want to find somebody on IG. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that would be weird. Like I don't know if it could happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but my morals and what I've learned in life and whatnot. If you meet somebody on IG, the ones I have met on IG, I ain't with them today. Let's just say that. So, yeah. And I also going back to what David said, I'm just gonna have to honestly a little bit disagree with you, because you said coming on humble. I feel like shoot, it's quite the opposite. Like, you're meeting an ultra personality, bro. Like on IG, you can act like a whole different person, right? So therefore, I feel like people are actually more bold, straight to the point, or straight up to what I don't know. I just feel like they're just more bold, but is it real? That's the thing that's crazy. Is I don't know if it's really genuine, but I feel like the people, females, men, act a lot bold on IG
I mean, you
than
could say narcissist too.
oh, there we go. Yeah, let's look that one up again. Do I have my dictionary? Where's my dictionary? I'm just kidding. No,
Get
but
the thesaurus out, folks.
That's funny, man. No, but like also like I gotta give it to like introverts, because I know all of us were extroverts, and introverts, they actually have better game when they use Instagram. Oh, what's up, Chris?
yeah, bro, I'm back, bro.
No,
Y'all
he's
woke you up in a
alive.
nap.
He's alive.
Had to make sure that I had to sleep out my eye and all that. But yeah, it's your
Right,
boy.
right.
All right, go ahead.
But yeah, like I was saying, a lot of introverts I have, like a lot of my friends, they have no game whatsoever to talk to a stranger in public.
Mm.
They like get sweaty, they get nervous, they start mumbling, you know what I'm saying? And then, but but when they go on Instagram and Facebook, they have so many girls hitting them up. I remember I have one guy, man. He's one of my good friends too. He's like about 300 pounds, 6'3". He ain't the best looking dude ever. He just got divorced, and this homie got over 30 DMs on Facebook and Instagram, and we're talking girls that are looking bad.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it gives them
I
power.
wonder if
Like
there's
for
like a
those,
filter, 6'3" and up.
right? He
Six
probably just
three,
took
just asterisk, just 6'3", just everyone was 6'3", just everyone is there.
right, or he just took a picture of his face. That's it, not his body. You know what I'm saying?
Didn't even know the recipe.
Or you got like a
Ah,
picture of you like in a mugshot so you can prove that you're actually 6'3".
Right,
yeah,
right,
that too. But that's the other thing too. You can photo op is a real thing. You know what I mean? Like you can mess with your pictures to make it seem like you're really that dude. Or if you are 250, you can make it seem like you're 200. Yeah. So like I can see that alter ego almost like David was saying with his dude. Like I could definitely see that happening, bro. You just jump in, and on top of that too, what's also crazy is I feel like there's a void that's also out there that we're not speaking of, right? Because as I touched on, people needing attention, this and the other. Our counterparts, our females out there. Some of y'all very strong. Know what to do. Got your stuff together. Some of y'all don't. Sometimes I think too, like the allure of attention from the opposite sex of men, what don't really matter who it's from. Sometimes also creates these interesting DM slide into the DM kind of intentions, right? Or even the reasons to why they reply back. But like, would you really reply back if I was in person? Talking to you. That's another question to be asked.
right.
So
That's
changing the
true.
subject a little bit. Total pivot. So you played football.
Hmm.
Where at?
I played at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, so a school up in like the Central Coast. We're now in the Big Sky. We're D1 AA. Yeah, had a good time there. Got a few rings back when it was good times at Poly. We'll be back though. Cal Poly will be back. Go
Nice.
ahead. What were you gonna ask me?
So when you were a kid, I guess other than your dad, favorite athletes?
Favorite athletes as a kid. Yeah. So Dion, I wore number 21 from my sophomore year when I made varsity in high school all the way throughout. A lot of that came from Deion Sanders, Barry Sanders, the combo between the two. Because when I played both corner and I also played a lot of other stuff. And the whole playmaker mentality, prime time from Deion. But then I was known as being very shifty, kind of like a Barry Sanders. So those two. LT also comes up in there because Daniel was a Charger. Met that dude a few times. Um, yeah, those guys. Allen Iverson. I don't know why, but AI. I played
Oh
hoops
yeah,
a little bit.
this goes for any sport. Yeah, it
Oh
can
yeah,
even be
any
the
sport.
bowler
Yeah.
on PBA team. It can even be the Tiger. It can even be Phil Mickelson. It's just some random black guy loves Phil Mickelson. That'll be
My guy
funny.
Phil. Nah, yeah, I
Um,
would say LT too.
Allen
Serena
Iverson
Williams also.
is
AI.
the
Yeah.
guy for everyone.
Yes.
And Kobe's also up there, but Allen Iverson seems like no one hates that guy. Maybe if you're like a boomer, but I remember a lot of older people hated him back when he was like in like 2002, 2003. People were calling him thug and stuff like that, and the whole dress code shenanigans.
Hmm.
But yeah, like it's crazy. Like Allen Iverson, even like Vince Carter, like those kind of guys in like the 2000s NBA, like the early
Hmm.
2000s, made such a huge impact on in America. And then like when you like look at it globally, you got Yao Ming coming in, you have all these other European basketball players, so making an impact on everyone.
Yeah, that was a good time. Not to bringing that up, that was a good time in bulk. As you just said, I mean, international players coming in.
And now
It
it's
was
like
kind of
so much more. Like
right.
and I wonder like do you think you would see like I'm not sure if we've already seen it because I don't follow football as closely as I do basketball. but like a European who's going to play American football.
See, that's the thing is that basketball and football they're two different, like the sport itself and how you develop yourself as even a player. One thing I always joke with my basketball friends about is like football. You don't really. They always say like there's football players that play underneath the lights that know how to play, and then there's players that read the playbooks and are really cerebral. Just know where to be at the right place at the right time. But you only do so much with football to perfect what it's going to be like when the lights are on, whenever you play on Saturdays or Sundays or Fridays or Thursdays, no matter, because you can prep that whole week, but it ain't the same as playing in the game. I'm not saying something like that with basketball, but basketball, you have to have the ball to really develop your hones, at least your handles, which is a large part of ball. I think with that ability, you can be somewhere in Cameroon, Africa, where you would never think somebody basketball players come out of that area. But like, as long as you got a ball and can develop your own set of your skill and just continue to work on your aim or your handles, you could be okay. Now, obviously, once you get to the higher levels of ball, there's actual fundamentals you got to know. Whereas, American football, I don't really see. It's different in the States. You know what I'm saying? That's the sport that's played here in the States. So unless you're really here and have been playing Pop Warner since you were younger, it's not going to be the same as, playing overseas and then coming here and thinking that you can compete at the same level.
Yeah, I guess like I guess I was wondering because like I think there is in Australia. I think they do have American football. Like there's like a season they play, or there's Australian rules football, but there's also like an American football league, which kind of acts as like I guess like maybe like a minor league or something. But I was just wondering like how often will we get like an international player into the NFL? Like it's just some random guy. They could have grown up here in America, or they could have just been born somewhere else.
Yeah, well, it's already happened if you think about it. Like the SEC, a lot of your bigger, I guess, African descent players. So a lot of them are first, second, of their family to be out here, descendants to be out here in America. Like they were kind of recruited based off of whatever balance. I don't know how they go recruit, and then brought to these bigger SECs to compete.
He's black. Come on, remember.
Yes, straight up, because he's black. Because we have that physical attributes that some other ethnicities don't have. Just naturally, without even having to do nothing, we already strong. Some cats are like that. Most are black. So that being said, and you're playing a sport like football that is about strength and power and being able to do all that and be quick with it, that's another reason why it's like a straight line almost to the NFL.
How many Chris, sorry, David, I'll let you ask in a second, but how many kind of like I guess kind of epiphanies or moments you have where you're just like, wow, I got to stop playing this game?
Shoot, a few actually. It's funny because first of all, football wasn't really my first sport. My first sport was soccer that I was really about. It's just that football, the way that God had it to be, football was the way to get me to college kind of thing, like with the scholarship and all that stuff. So I wouldn't say I was a developed football player. I just liked playing the sport and then fell in love with it once I realized I was good at it kind of thing. But once you get to higher levels, I got to college. That was kind of my first epiphany that this isn't a game anymore. It's a job, like lifting weights, being in your playbook, making sure that you attend your classes so that way you have the grades to even play. All that stuff, it's a job at that point. And so it's rewarding, yes, to win and to come out, with my degree and all that stuff. But with the injuries that I've faced, broke my leg, I've broke my thumb. I still have shoulder impingement issues in my neck. I'm not a big dude, so when you're a cornerback, 5'9", smaller corner, and you have to come up and, seal the edge against bigger linemen or bigger tight ends or whatever, that stuff does wear and tear on you. So that in the sport definitely, you quickly go, okay, well, do I want to continue to do this? That's why you got to give it to those that do it in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? They're going in and out on a daily, a lot bigger people, a lot faster game. And yes, they have rehabilitation, which does help. But, the fact of having the physical fortitude to also endure through all that stuff, that's why they're the 1%, that can play at that level,
Yeah,
So
that would burn out anyone. I mean, just you mentioned, just you talking through that. That just sounds exhausting. Just like mentally
Yeah.
exhausting. Just doing day by day, and you know you got to wake up probably like 5:30. Uh,
Yep. Exactly.
it's crazy.
Yep.
Well,
Been
I
there.
was gonna
Been there.
ask, I was gonna ask you, Chris. So, like, having a father that, I know you looked up to him. You know, did your father give you, like, when you guys were kids? Do you have any memories of him, like, playing football with you a little bit, or?
Um, what's funny is that my dad, very unique cat in the sense that he didn't really ever. I honestly didn't even know that he played in the NFL until I was probably like 7 or 8 when he started taking me to the alumni games, and I kept on wondering, like, why do we have to go to a different area? Like, why are we in this different, saying these different booths and press boxes? Why do I get to go on the field where everybody else doesn't? Why do we have to park in this parking space? And then he finally kind of told me, but he actually he pushed sports. He kind of just, my mom used to tell me, he just would put different types of, balls in my crib, like a football, basketball, soccer ball. I saw which one I would gravitate to. And soccer was the one that I gravitated to, and he just stuck with what I like to do. So one thing that I will say is that the competitive nature of me definitely stemmed from him, like not being, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a really big person, but being tenacious. That's kind of why Allen Iverson to me was like my guy, because he wasn't a big dude, but he was hungry. You know what I'm saying? Like every single game, he had that heart. You know what I mean? So even from a very very young age, he kind of instilled that in me. Football, him and I really connecting on it really probably started in high school, where it was to the point then where he definitely saw that I had potential with this, and it got to the point where my guy is leaving. This is a true story too. I'm actually playing on the field, and Brez calling my phone, leaving voicemails. Like he would leave, like, in one game up to, if it's a good game, 10 in the 20s, right? And it's like his viewpoint on what he saw from his where he was sitting, and like what I could have been doing better, or this, that, and the other. Now to me, that didn't make any sense to me, because if we lost, your boy's finger was on that X the whole time. I wasn't even listening to them things. I was just delete, 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 delete. And even if we won, I was out. David, you know me, I was out, bro. We won, shoot, bro. We back at where we going? Whose house? What's happening? You know what I mean? Like, so I wasn't answering them bad boys for another day or two later. So, um, uh, but yeah, no, it's just cool just to, I guess, have that pedigree, and the experiences that I was able to grow up in San Diego. I can definitely say I think I'm a true San Diegan, because um, I kind of was born a Charger. You know what I'm saying? So, although ironically I'm in Vegas now, home of the Raiders coming in, I will not be rocking any colors of such. Neutral colors if I do go to games. Straight up.
Right.
It's hard because the Raiders have the most neutral colors.
They do, right?
Black,
Nah, for real
yellow.
though.
Yeah, just black and
Bro, black,
silver, right?
white, and
It's
silver. Like, what else is
Yeah.
to wear, bro? That's a good point.
yeah, I'll just wear a pink shirt to the game or something. A pink shirt and
Right.
jeans or whatever.
Oh man, it's
A
funny,
white shirt
bro.
that says I'm not a Raider fan. Now that's not even a
Right.
good look, because now you just, I've been to Raider Charger games, bro. Uh, Shoot, my dad and I almost got in a fight at one of them, and that was that was a long, long time ago. A lady too at that, bro. A full-on mama bear, bro.
Karen.
Faded.
A goddamn
Oh, man.
Karen. God damn it. Or a
Ooh,
Susan.
hashtag.
Or a Kimberly, perhaps. Who knows?
May have been a Kimberly, bro. No,
Yeah.
this situation may have been a Kimberly, bro. She gonna spill the beer, bro, and then gonna be on me. I'm 15 years old at the time. My pops flips, right? Like, what are you doing, Kimberly? And she gonna, like, get all bold. It, like, push my dad, bro. Like, put hands on pops, bro. I was like, what is going on? What is going on? Pops, just tell me when to go. You know what I'm saying? No E40, but, like, shoot. Anyways,
Damn, man, that's
So you root
crazy.
for the Chargers.
huh?
Do you still root for the Chargers?
Oh, bro, you're bringing up sore subjects on this one, guys. I'm gonna have to say, guys, No, I don't.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. I
The
was gonna
whole
ask you that. The L.A. San Diego thing. I know it's
yeah,
toxic.
bro. Yeah, that's not cool. Like loyalty. I'm big in loyalty, and especially when you come like you brought on the first things y'all were saying is just Chargers are a franchise that's not really heard of anymore, right?
Right.
That's not the fault of the Chargers. It's
Yeah.
the fault of the Spanos family. Those that own the Chargers. They have literally dismantled that team. Um, and I think it's all predicated off of money, which is the saddest thing. It's not about the love that city had for that team. It wasn't about the longevity and the ups and downs of being a Charger. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of heartbreak. Jets in '03 or 4, whatever. Going out to New England after a great season. Uh, losing some greats just to Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? Just due to
Yeah.
some injury. And it's just like it's funny because we're almost like the laughing stock of the NFL. It's like you go to the Chargers to go to another team to get a ring. Think about it. Like I don't know if Donnie Edwards got one at KC, but I do know that Darren Sproles got one. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, who else? Does Vincent Jackson get one? I don't think Vincent got one. He's on a better team though. Eric Weddle,
We're
did he
coming
get
in
one? Oh,
about
Eric
7
Springfield.
minutes left. But yeah. So like I know that's like and I didn't want to make it sound like the Chargers are some like nobody, but like see that's the thing is like if the Chargers if they were invested in if like the outside if someone invested in the Chargers like if they had a caring owner. Who's to say that they couldn't be like a powerhouse, because like when I was, when we were kids, the Golden State Warriors, what were they? They were nothing. Now they're
Exactly.
like they're the model franchise now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Steph Curry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how like it's one guy.
With the
One
window.
guy changes everything. Same with the Cavaliers.
Right.
One guy.
Oh man, no, it's true. It's
Right.
true. I
Reverse of
want. Right. I
David
was gonna
Jordan.
tell you.
That's all I gotta say. Go ahead.
I know, man. Hey, but look, real quick, I want to ask one more last question, man, because you're from Cali. What do you feel with the girls that you date in Vegas? Like, can you give us some spill of your thoughts on that?
I know what you want to hear, bro. I know what you want to hear. I'll give it to y'all. I know what you want to hear. Okay, so I ain't gonna we're gonna keep this anonymous. I got some big homies that put me on game a long time ago with this one, but pretty much story goes. Once what was it? It's most girls that are from Cali, like the ones that were young runners, as we would say, out in the street. Uh, they tend to flock after their reign in the streets to Vegas for some reason. It's weird. Like you'll meet a lot of ex-retired Californian baddies that have nested and settled here with their baggage. No baggage claim, just one-way ticket to Vegas. Yeah, and it's kind of I'm good. Like I'm at the point now where it's almost like if you say you from Cali, I almost am like, yeah, I already know there's some more that comes to this, even if I meet you out here in Vegas. I'm from San Diego, I've met, spoke, been with LA, LA's different from the Bay. Y'all, I will say that. Everybody knows that. Which is different from Fresno, which is different from honestly Bakersfield, although they're right by each other. But um, what doesn't change is the baggage that I'm talking about, bro. Like the Vegas females out here, not saying anything's wrong with it. Like you live and you learn, but it is sad times when you're still young, trying to figure out your own life, and they already got children, or they already have been through an abusive relationship, or they've already been through something that's just like, damn, like, and you're only how old again? Um, so yeah, that's what it is.
Damn.
California on Jones, they flock to the
So basically,
Vegas
there's
Sin
no
City.
difference.
Whoa, I
I
don't know
mean,
if you
like
had
I
a
should
chance.
say, like the people that you grew up with. I mean, they just travel to the same place. I don't know.
I say that there's a difference in the sense that if you're in California, right, and you find somebody in California, like your odds of maybe I don't know how to say it. Like if you're already there in Cali, you have the better you have the better leg. You have a higher leg than if you meet them out here in Vegas and they're from Cali. Let's just say that.
You think that could be because of volume?
It could be because of volume. It could be as simple as you know, if we're talking about creme de la creme, Vegas is a cheaper alternative to California, right? So, you know, those that aren't able to, like just myself, I'm not talking about, you know, I'm myself of that same group. California is dummy expensive, right? So trying to live there, you know, maybe it's more feasible for their situation or for situations of people to be out here in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? But so that has nothing to do with necessarily saying that like you're less quality, because it could just be as simple as I ain't got that check to make it in California. But I'm just, and more specifically speaking of, you know, do I want to meet a Californian in Vegas, bro? I don't know. I'd much rather meet you back at home where, you know, where you were from. You know, we can meet you. I'm rather meet you at the beach in Encinitas or like up in Laguna, you know, not out here in Lake Mead. Like, no,
It wasn't me.
it wasn't me. It wasn't meant to be.
Right. Oh man. Pretty good stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's been fun
I'm
though,
just gonna-
guys. This has been fun.
Yeah. I'm just going to wrap it up here. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
We're about the 2-minute warning now. So thank you for joining us, Chris Fletcher. We'll definitely have you back on. This is episode 10. Dave Montalvo. I'm Hami Arain. Chris Fletcher joined us today. This is episode 10, like I just mentioned. I keep repeating myself. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.